Hello, happy bros. Hey, you're about to get a face full of the Ken Bozak. He's a mentor. That's what I heard. He's a connector. Oh, yeah. He's a brilliant leader. I've seen it. He's Ken Bozak. Oh, happy bro. You gotta get some Bitcoin and hold it. Happy bros. You gotta get those NFTs and you gotta hodl that stuff. You gotta hodl it. 'Cause I'm Ken bro. We got your Bitcoin, bro. He's an original. Buy some NFTs and hold them. How many times does he have to tell you? Going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're gonna get real high. 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 Yeah, we're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Bro, we're going to the moon. Oh yeah, we're going to the moon. We're gonna get real high. Real high. Yep. Real high. Hello, happy bros. Come get your Ken Bozak.
And we're live.
Hey,
We're on the air.
Hey, everybody.
It's a live show now.
how are you feeling today?
I don't know. Giddy, I think.
You had that bird make an appearance. That's always good.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Smart Digital Payments, Senor Lupe. What's up, Risky, Aubrey, everybody in the chat. How goes it? I love it. It just, when I see on my end, I don't get to see the emojis or the emotes that you guys use. I see it in text format, like closed captions. So all I see is elbow cough emoji.
That's funny.
Like, what? I think it looks like a dab, right? That's the one. I think it's an elbow cough emoji, but it looks like you're dabbing.
Yeah, they don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get to see that, but it's just funny that I see it written out. And anyway, yo, DMB in the chat. What up, Cash? How goes it? We got our
one of our chat people, actually, Senor Lupe, in there. We're dropping something today.
Oh yeah, that's right. You got an NFT drop.
It's pretty crazy. Go to Senor Lupe or Mai's Twitter to check it out.
Yeah, I retweeted all three of them last night, so I should have it on my feed as well. Pretty recent. What up, Sacred? What's going on, Dimensions? Everybody, thanks again for tuning in. Retweet and do all the cool stuff. We're here with our bro, Jeff. How goes it?
Great, man. Thanks for having me. Thanks, Nathan, and thanks, Ken.
Appreciate it. I see you got a cute pup in the background.
Yeah, this is Bella.
Bella.
Yeah.
Oh, she looks so fluffy.
Fully fluffy, man. She likes me because I feed her, from the plate. So I'm down with that.
Yeah.
So what kind of pup is that?
It's a little poodle, man.
Oh, nice.
Little poodle. Yeah. It's a gal I go out with.
Poodle.
She's got a little poodle, and her name's Bella.
See, I have a pit bull, but
that's awesome.
Yeah, the only reason my dog doesn't eat me is because I let my dog eat off the plate. But I don't do it because I want to. I feel like I have to. My dog intimidates me. She knows it.
Almost bit my finger off, for real, not kidding.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that when she met you.
Not exaggerating.
Yeah, he tried to give her a treat, and she was just like, it's one of those things where you try to give a dog an inch, and they want to take your whole hand.
Yeah.
Some dogs hate like niceness. They hate nice people. They want to rip your face off, even if you're giving them like a dry piece of chicken.
That happens all the time. If we're on the road and somebody cuts us off, we want to like rip their heads off, but we weren't really mad at them. We were mad leaving the house.
That's a
So
good
I
point.
think the dogs, they hold grudges, and they're like, all right, I'm going to wait till he gives me a snack. And I'm going to freaking bite his finger off. I think that's what happened, Nathan.
Yeah, I destroyed a lawn ornament the day before. Maybe they were friends.
See?
Was
Can't mess with the
Oh,
gnomes,
that's
bro.
funny. Yeah,
That's bad to break a gnome.
I think she would pee on that thing a lot.
Yeah, I was
then
just gonna say, she marked that territory more than once.
I just ran it over with my car.
Jeff, I want to give you a chance to introduce yourself to all the bros that are tuning in, because you're going to be in Miami at Shitcoin 2021, and tons of viewers right now are going to be in Miami on June 3rd and 4th. So I wanted to give you an opportunity maybe to introduce yourself to all these people at once, so you don't have to do it over and over again, which we're all going to have to do in Miami anyway. It is what it is. But let them know a little bit about, who you are. Maybe start with, yourself in general, but how that led you to stumble into crypto and what you're doing now with NFT the movie.
Absolutely. I'll start really from the beginning, as if I'm on like the psychiatrist's couch, but I won't start there. Where it really actually started in crypto for me was a one-way ticket to Puerto Rico. My business partner and I, James Greaves, he showed me a magazine article with Brock in it, the New York Times best article with Brock and the hat in the church. And he's like, hey, man, let's go to Puerto Rico. I'm like, all right. He goes, we're going to take a one-way ticket. I'm like, okay. And he goes, and I go, do you know where he's at? He's like, nope. So we land.
That's awesome.
And before we land, I will try to keep this brief, but before we land, I post something on Facebook, and my dear friend Brian Christensen with Block Cities, he's like, bro, I got my ticket. I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like, I'm there. Well, it so happened that he knew somebody, and Brock was just across from the Monastery Suites in a little cafe. We walked in. He was finishing up with some friends, and we introduced ourselves. And we said, hey, Brock, we're from Utah. We came here just to see you. We had to sleep on our park bench last night because we're so freaking cheap. We didn't want to pay for the Airbnb. He's like, what do you mean? Like, you just flew in to see me, and you didn't know where I was? So he goes, would you guys like to go on a tour of Old San Juan? And he took us on a 2-hour tour through the entire, like every little thing. And every other word was partner with the locals, partner with the locals. We sang, we danced, we hung out, and he was just a friend. So what happened was during Puerto Crypto, during those times 3 years ago, you had Michael Turpin's event, you had D10E, you had all these things. We had a white paper. We weren't even planning on being there. Well, we got on all 3 stages. We won best of, People's Choice, and 3rd in the ICO competitions, which at this point, whatever, but it was pretty interesting. So James, to tie this up a little bit and move on, James is like, look, dude, why don't you ask Brock if we can have a party? So I went to Brock. I said, hey, bro, can we use your pad? Can we do a party? We'll try to keep it sane. 500 people showed up from rooftop to the bottom. There were people in unicorn outfits. I didn't know what gender was what, which nobody cares. There were people swinging from the vines, and they all had the same love. 500 people. And within 2.5 weeks, we had raised enough money to build Glyph ID on a one-way ticket with faith that we were just going to, and Brock, listen, we all know he's not investing. This had nothing to do with him investing. It had to do with us showing up, and we did one thing, ladies and gentlemen. The one thing we did that brought us back in, and he kept inviting us back in, was service. If you remember 3 years ago, Maria hit. It devastated that island. It's a travesty that they're still in that situation. But what happened is all the beer coolers and everything that had any kind of ice in it would melt when the power went out. When we showed up with mops. We didn't show up with a white paper. We didn't show up with a briefcase. We didn't show up with a tie. We showed up with mops. And one day Brock came to us and he said, hey man, do you guys want to do some lunch? We're like, cool. There were like 8 people in the room. Those were the 8 people who showed up to clean all the crap. So moving on, I got involved in blockchain, and then I started putting on events. I do personal development events here in Park City on Main Street. we put together one of the largest events in Utah with people from Overstock and Brock and Crystal Rose and who was it? Scott Walker from DNA. And the long and the short of it is I started to step back, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, and get more perspective. You know, Alan Watts, he talks about the star. If you focus on the star, you can't see the galaxy.
Yeah.
And if you look at the galaxy, you can't see the star. So I live in the galaxy. And then I hang out with all these astronauts and all these amazing people who can get us where we need to go. But I have this now view from this outside point of view. So my name is Jeff Crane, originally from Southern California, moved here to Utah after I was a Mormon missionary in Brazil. And I've lived, it seems like, many, many lives. And now we're doing NFT the movie and showcasing people with these amazing stories about NFTs. So I kind of went a little bit long, but that's who I am.
No, it's
that's
amazing.
perfect. Yeah. I kind of wanted to talk about Brazil. I was just like,
Yeah,
I was like, wait, what? How was that?
I'm a practitioner of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Everybody should
Are
know.
you really?
I'm only a 2-stripe white belt, but come at
Wow. there
Come
you go.
at me, bro.
I love it, man. Well, I can tell you what, I can do capoeira because I can just dance around and pretend that I'm doing karate.
I heard Brazil had
Oh,
like
man,
those
you can't
cool
move good. You'll beat
plants
me up.
that would like brainwash you or something.
They had what?
Like Brazil has like these cool plants that like can like brainwash you or whatever. Like
Oh,
Hey,
the
man, I don't
ayahuasca.
doubt it.
The
I don't
trick
doubt
with
it. There's
the
certain
happy.
parts of the world that spawned life. In the Amazon, it's if the Amazon disappeared, we would disappear. That's how important the Amazon is. There are things in the Amazon nobody has actually discovered. But as far as my mission's concerned, I was in Sao Paulo, but my mission was called, you ready for this, guys? There's a city called Camp Penis. That's the name of the city.
I'm so happy I went with this topic.
And my mom, at church, she would say Campinas. She would put like some sort of accent. Oh, he's at.
You'd have to. You have to.
Ken, are we ever gonna grow up?
No.
You and I just started giggling. Like, what's wrong?
She's like, people are like, what kind of camp is Jeff going to for 2 years? So
Yeah, and that's why I'm laughing. He has to tell people where he's at as an adult. Like,
he's on a mission for the Lord at Camp Penis. Like, whoa, bro.
Fine name of that.
Yeah. And I tell you guys, the only way to love is service. And it was great because for 2 years, 6 days a week, or 7 days, because you have what's called P Day, was your preparation day.
Penis
We're out serving. I remember distinctly weeding the ground at our church on Christmas. And halfway through the day, I'm like, oh, dude, it's Christmas. Losing yourself and other things, and then being humbled. Now, listen, I'm cocky as they come. I come from Southern California. I was a ski instructor, surfer, skater, BMXer, you name it, we did it. We didn't even think Northern California counted. They do. We love them. They do. And so when I went to Brazil, they're like, hold on, brother. You're not the center of influence. You're not the center of the earth. And so I had to be quiet for 2 months because I had to learn the language. They thought I was the nicest guy because I couldn't understand a friggin' thing they were saying. But then when I got it, I spoke the language wherever I was. I assimilated. And I'm going to tell you something about Brazil. Have you gentlemen not been to Brazil?
no, not yet, actually. I definitely would like to visit. It's on the list.
That's like your third birth. You have a first birth. You've had a second birth, I'm sure, in many ways. But when you get to Brazil, spend a week to 2 weeks. There will be something that you will connect with. And like you said, Ken, there are plants, animals, and human beings that are not of this earth that live in Brazil.
I want to check it out. I feel like I've been in a few different birth canals in this lifetime, and that's one I definitely want to check out, man. I want to get in that Brazilian womb over there. Put a room in the womb, put a chair in it, and just chill. I've always wanted to go check it out. It seems just beautiful, but yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of like mystique involved too. Like it's just from like Westerners, I guess you'd say, you know.
Well, think about it this way, gentlemen and ladies, whoever watching and whomever, I don't care who's watching.
Even extraterrestrials.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's where I was going.
Yeah.
If you look at the pyramids, if you look at everything that they're finding, you know, the Mayan Incas and all this other stuff, and then you understand that, you know, you have these pyramids on the other side of the world, and you have very similar things. There is a communication. There's an internal ESP, some sort of communication that they received. And so they are derivatives of the culture of Egypt. Now, of course, the language isn't, because what happened is Portugal, Spain, and Portugal came in and gentrified, and you know, a lot of things that are culturally that happen in Brazil, like capoeira. Nathan, do you know why they invented capoeira? The
It's like
martial arts.
fighting and dancing, so they're just like, let's put them together.
You're on track. It was because they were slaves and they couldn't fight, so they danced. And it looked like a dance, but they were actually practicing their martial art and their Zen or their meditation or whatever. Feijoada is a bucket of beans with pig nose, pig arms, ears, every little bit and piece. It's known as a delicacy now, but it was food for the indentured slaves and the people, like the indigenous people that were taken advantage of when the Europeans came over. And so it's so important to understand. Now let's back up in the United States. Why do we have such delicious ribs? Because the indentured servants and slaves, when they were given that scrap, they turned that into a delicious gourmet. And I'd love to know these things, because we need to know where we come from. And culturally speaking, if we can get as close as possible to that, then we can feel a little bit of empathy when they go through things that I personally, as a white middle-aged man who was privileged and, you know, coming from Southern California, could not possibly comprehend until I dig into those things.
Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff for us, for sure. There's a lot of things that I've learned in like the last several years that I didn't even know that I was doing. Like I'm in a, you know, it's kind of rocky at the moment, but I'm in a mixed race relationship, I guess you'd say. And like, you know, I had a lot of learning to do, I would say, like a lot of white dudes in America right now. There's just a learning curve and there's some catching up to do, but it's not an excuse either.
I'm so glad you brought that up. And Nathan, listen, we talk about hard things because those things need to be talked about.
Yeah.
There's a gentleman by the name of Norman. I'm not going to give his full name. He's a wonderful, wonderful human being. And I met him in Newport about a week ago. He was sitting down and he was wearing his Armani suit, and he's a black guy, very, very very, very articulate. And we were having a really nice conversation. And he was telling me that he could see through walls. Essentially, he can see people coming a mile away. And I knew he didn't get that from formal education. He had to have gotten that from being raised in a certain way, because you forget what people, or don't listen to what people say. You watch what they do in those situations. 70 to 80% of communication is nonverbal. So you know what's coming your way. And I made a mistake, and he corrected me with love. And I'm putting myself out there because I want people to learn from my mistakes and this naivete in my unconsciousness of what I'm doing. So I'm sitting there with this NFT movie shirt on, and I'm all important. I have this self-righteousness. I could feel it in my bones. And I say to him, Norm, I love your suit. I love your watch. You're so freaking awesome, but I want to see you in regular clothes, because I want to put you in that state so that people can see that you're just a regular dude. He goes, Jeff, you don't understand. He goes, in my culture, I need to wear this suit because I'm not accepted if I don't wear this suit to my own culture. He goes, and he schooled me at dinner at this beautiful place right off the ocean in Newport. And I sat back. I didn't need to apologize because it wasn't something I was trying to do on purpose. But he comes from a completely different point of view and a different life. And he has both sides of the coin, where he has the education from the Ivy League, and he also has this thing where he grew up in the streets. And so when I left that meeting, I was like, oh my gosh, not only do I need to be careful the things I say, even though it was well intended, but now I have a little bit more perspective in somebody else's shoes, and it will help me to be a little bit more empathic there. But how would I have ever known, right, Nathan? Unless I stepped into it and just kind of went back and go, I get it.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that's important in society right now, is giving the freedom for people to learn and make mistakes and kind of.
The problem is we're documenting the mistakes, bro. Like that's the thing that we haven't had, you know, in humanity was, you know, this ledger of mistakes or whatever, and
Social
we don't even let people grow anymore, man. I see it happen in the mainstream all the time, where you see like somebody, whatever celebrity or whoever in influence will be like against gay rights or gay marriage, right? And then eventually their opinions change, and they're like, "Yo, I was an asshole when I said that," but nobody's like. It's not that they're not forgiving them. It's like they're double mad. They're mad that you changed your opinion, even if it's for the better of like the momentum of humanity. So we're like the accountability checks are just all fucked up because of this ledger of mistakes that you can go back, and it ain't like my great grandmom has a Twitter account. She was probably an awful person at today's standards. A lovely lady back then, I'd imagine, but an awful person at today's standards. And thinking, 100 years from now, the fact that our great grandchildren are going to be held, accountable for what their great grandparents atrocities were on the internet. It's weird. We've never had this form of accountability of mistakes made. So it's hard, to see people learn from their mistakes when they're damned if they do and damned if they don't.
Yeah,
I had an image of you as Grandpa Bozak. That's why I was laughing.
And Ken, I think that's so apropos that you say that, because I think one of the main reasons why this is not natural is because when we first were cavemen and women, we didn't have 50,000 followers and people that we were trying to have 50 different archetypes, where we had to wake up in the morning and be the best mom and the best dad and the best teacher and the best student, and everything's being the best. Like, where are the mistakes? The mistakes are where we learn. Before I got on this podcast, Ken, I was thinking maybe some of the questions that you might have, and maybe some of the things that I've gone through in my life. It's not about time. It's about experiences. You could sit on your butt in a jail cell for 50 years and do the time, and I'll have way more life experience in 5 years if I just live my life through experiences. And when you live through an experience, you're going to fail. And here's the thing that if I could give anybody some help today, you have to realize there are 3 lights when you go to a stoplight. There's the red, yellow, and green. If you get pissed off every single time there's a red, you have a problem, because there's a cycle. You're going to go through reds. You're going to
I
go
know
through
those
yellow,
people,
yellow,
Jeff.
green. What's that?
I know those people.
Do you drive with one a lot?
Every single red light. Nathan, you know.
I know. Dude, I don't mind a good red light sometimes, because it gives you a chance to like adjust your radio, kind of, turn up the AC, put your seat back a little bit. It's a good thing. I think people should learn.
Absolutely, it's a good thing. If we didn't have red lights, we would get in accidents, because everybody would have green lights, and then everybody thinks it's their way. And that's the problem with that thing, Ken, that you were talking about, is that everybody thinks it's a green light. No, bro, it is not. As a matter of fact, those dips, what we were talking about before we got on, Nathan, right? Yeah. The EKG does this, my friends. If you're doing this, you're dead. There's people sleeping right now, not on this podcast, people that have put their heads in the pillow. Maybe they have depression, whatever it is. I'm not judging. But they're doing this because they want this. No, bro, I want this. That's my life. I love the oscillation. And you know what? That's lovemaking, by the way. Foreplay, climax, rest, foreplay, climax, rest. Everything in life with worth has this. You have a 9-month of like, holy cow, and then boom, you have the baby.
So is this why I feel like Bitcoin fucks me every time? Just because.
I was just gonna say, I feel like investing has taught me a lot about life in some ways, and how to like just take a breath somehow, even though like all right, today's gonna be a bad day. Like, and I can like there's the physical like circumstances at play of like, all right, my investment is down or something, but I can still like mentally and emotionally separate enough to find, or not even separate. I think that's even another misnomer. Just accept, open up, and be a part of it, and just let it take you. So you can be a part of the down that creates the up.
I
Like
do
we're
want to
saying.
try to steer this towards NFT the movie real quick because I just realized we're
do
like
that.
almost at the halfway point of the show, and I wanted to jump into maybe a little bit of Jeff's experiences with the project thus far. And I know you have like your car wrapped, which looks badass. I kind of stole an image of it and posted it on Twitter and said it was my car, and the internet went nuts.
Dude,
So they might think you're
still.
driving my car at some point. Just go with it.
You can wrap mine, just pay me.
I love it, and there's so much behind that. I'm bringing it up right now, and I can show it. I did want to leave it. I want to transition, if you don't mind, with what Nathan said, because Nathan, you said something that's so very important. I think if people study physics, they'll be much more happy in life, because we all know that theory that things in motion stay in motion unless they're interrupted by an unequal force. The only question you have to ask yourself is, are you the unequal force, or are you letting somebody else be that unequal force? And we'll get into this later, but Christ, when he was on the planet, and I'll jump into the NFTs. I'm no longer religious, but I love these stories. Somebody came to him and said, "Hey man, every time I walk through this town, this soldier makes me carry my pack a mile." Jesus said, "Carry it twain." Now there's two types of Jesus, just like there's the yin and the yang. There's the turn the cheek, and there's the bad A, the guy who's going to freaking ruffle your feathers and you won't even know it. The reason in my mind, this is how I see it, that Jesus said what he said is, the moment you take that pack the extra mile on your own volition, you own that soldier, you own that pack. And as a matter of fact, if he asked me to put that pack down after 2 miles, I'd say, no, I'll take it another mile. I'll take it 10 miles because I own you now. Does that make sense? So the things that happen to us in life, those things happen, but the only question is, who's making that happen? So let's get back to the movie real quick. To answer the question, Ken, here's what really happened. For my 30 years of business, of jumping in and trying to create tools or dig for the gold, whatever it is you want to use an association to, whether it's the gold rush or anything else, I was always in competition. I was always in competition with people who were smarter than me, because I got horrible grades, and I can't believe I even graduated high school. Right, Ken?
Yeah, I got my GED, but that was just to shove some people up.
I graduated, but there were some rough patches for sure.
Right? I just got through my son's graduation. I said, "Carter boy, congratulations." Because when I got my graduation paper, I was like, dude, I'm running because they're going to take it from me because they made it.
Yeah, I dropped out like 3 times.
Yeah.
That's a good rapper name, by the way, Carter Boy.
Yeah, right? Yeah, man. He designs shoes, and we'll talk about that later. So what happened was, gentlemen and ladies, what I did was I stepped back. I was in Puerto Rico, and all my friends were talking about NFTs at the highest level. And I'm like, wait a minute. I think I've been here before. I did this with credit card rates. I did this with home classifieds. I did this with a dozen internet businesses. I did this by going to Puerto Rico on a one-way ticket. Dude, when are you going to learn, bro? So what I did was I thought, Jeff, you know what to do. Does everybody know that we're all tied into one frequency? There's one frequency that we're all tied into, and you can't dispute it, and it's called WIIFM. And I didn't make this up. It's called What's in It for Me. It's called self-preservation. At the end of the day, you got to say no, because if you don't, you won't have enough oxygen or food or water. You've got to have self-preservation. Once you take care of yourself and that oxygen mask gets on your face, then you take care of everybody else, right? So what I thought was, well, wait a minute. If everybody wants to talk about themselves, why don't I just put a lens in their face? And why don't I just ask them? And because I've nurtured relationships through relationships and not transacting, that's why I fell in love with Ken, to be honest, because he wasn't transactional. Yes. And Nathan, I know we're going to be friends because it's not transactional. None of the conversation we had before this podcast had anything to do with NFTs. It was about relationship building, was it not?
It's true. Yeah, that's kind of all we really think about.
Yeah. So NFT the Movie and NFTthemovie.com is really just a showcase for those people who are at the right place at the right time on the right bus with the right driver going in the right direction. And it so happens everybody is going in that direction in Miami. But there's Miamis all over the world. We're not the only one, right? Yeah. So NFT the Movie, it's actually a documentary. And nobody has ever asked me, so I'm just going to tell you why we call it a movie and not a documentary. I hate the word documentary. If I hear the word documentary, it sounds like I'm going to be taught something. I've already been to school. I'm going to go into cold sweats and piss my pants, and I'm not going to show up because I do not want to be taught something. I want to be entertained. I want to feel love. I want to feel like I'm a part of it. So the subject matters of our movie, including, I'll just name one person, just one, Brittany Kaiser.
I love Brittany. She's amazing.
Cool. Very cool.
I don't know what friggin' planet she's from, but at the age of 13 or 14, she jumps on a bus to go to a rally. She is moving mountains within the blockchain, NFTs, civil rights, data protection. It's incredible. And I just love her to death. I just love her to death, her and Matt. And so it's people like that, and it's stories that they're telling from real experiences, that when we open the curtain or when they push on the button for the NFT movie, they'll be able to go, wait a minute, that's me. I'm that person. I'm that young girl who gets on that bus. I'm that young man who everybody discounts. Gentlemen and ladies, there's somebody right now with a gun in their hand. There's people out there right now that are going to do harm to themselves because they don't think they're loved and they don't think they matter. We're here to show them that they matter, not through the eyes of a white, middle-aged man from Southern California, but through the eyes of as many people we possibly can in this spectrum that all really share the same DNA.
Yeah.
We're all related. But then we can show it and go, you know what? How can all these people come together with love without taking? The first conversation I had with Ken, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. These are the things that I believe in. And he's showing me through his actions, there are other people on this planet who have something to lose that are willing to give. See, we can give things that we don't own. That's easy. But when we give something that we have potentially something to lose, that's what love is about. So NFT the movie is really about people and about these personalities, because this has happened before. It's happened with the World Wide Web. It's happened with Bitcoin. It'll be another acronym down the road, and there will be the same number of people. There'll be the same number of tribes. But what's the difference? The difference is this calling that we all have. And I'll pass it to you for this last thing. I talk about Moses because he's my hero, and I talk about Jesus a lot because he's a great character. I love Buddha. I love everybody. But when Jesus was in Sermon on the Mount, when he was sitting there and he was hanging out and he was talking to people, there were some vendors selling popcorn. They didn't hear a thing. They were selling stuff. There were people wrestling with their kids because their kids wouldn't freaking calm down, and they weren't listening either. But these parables that he spoke in, the people that were ready, they were in tune, man. They're like, I get it. That's what we're doing right now. From coast to coast, all around the world, we're infecting and helping people understand that you are okay. Put the weapon, put the sharp object down, go outside, take a breath of fresh air, turn off any social media if that's what's making you mad. Turn off your family if that's what's making you mad. Go into the desert naked and figure out who the freak you are. Because once you figure that out, you will find your tribe. You will understand the parables, and you will be at the place you need to be. And so I am so very grateful to be the vision of the movie as the executive producer and founder, because I've been here before. And I know some of these things that are trying to disrupt me from my mission. And that's why I want to hang around with people like the Bros and the Nathans and these people who, when I'm not there, they're protecting my back and taking care of me, because I don't have eyeballs in the back of my head.
I love you, man. That was beautiful, bro. Yeah, I don't even know where to go from there. I feel like that's like a mic drop. We should
Well, that's not the mic
did
drop.
the
Here's
show
the mic
later,
drop.
so I wouldn't cry on air, and you got
I wanted to do it first, bro. Listen, here's the mic drop. If us three faced each other, and let's do this in Miami. If you face each other and then turn around, you're done. You've got every angle covered. It's not about two, it's about three. Three's the magic number. If you ever go into business with another person, you're screwed. You have to have a third. Either that's the source, which is your God, your belief. If you're a parent, that's your source, not the kids. So the 3 is the magic number. We turn around, we have each other's backs, and we have every peripheral taken care of. You just got to find your 3. You're one of them. You find your other 2, man, woman, or child, short or long term, and you turn around and you don't worry what's behind you. Nobody's ever gone forward by looking back. The best motorcycle racers, the best car racers, the best foot racers, they don't even think there's a person behind them. They're going so fast, they're like, dude, are you kidding me? Nobody can touch me. That's how I live my life. I live my life unconsciously competent. When I get in my car, I can do 75 different things because I've driven my car for 50 years or whatever it is, or 40 years.
I was gonna say, when the fuck did you start driving?
Yeah, well, I'm 52, so I started when I was 2 years old. But
That's good.
you get
Back in your day, that was average.
Yeah, they used to just, now they make us wait so long for these damn driver's licenses. It's crazy.
So anyway, that's the mic drop, is the 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really believe in that. And hopefully we all find our source and then that partner who can help us with that source, because we have different perspectives. And the fact, Nathan, that you're dating somebody that's different from you,
Yeah.
you are going to grow so fast.
Yeah.
You're going to grow so fast. I just posted this, gentlemen, before we got on this podcast, that when you go to an event, don't sit next to somebody you know. Sit next to a stranger. When you walk down the street,
Good point.
smile. When you walk down the street, don't put the phone to your head. They want to talk to you. You open yourself up to opportunities if you just open yourself up. So anyway, that's my take.
People need to be more open and stuff and just kind of let go a little bit. That's a big struggle of mine in my life right now, is just learning how to accept things and be open and
Yeah, I think your hair looks fine, bro. I'm wondering what inspirations or perspectives kind of inspire, your film style, Jeff. Anything that really inspired you to get into film? Any films, or is there a documentary that really spoke to you, that was this is the movie entertainment version of being educated, that's kind of inspiring you to go about the direction of NFT the movie?
Well, it's actually, I'm glad you said that, because I wanted this to be the very last thing I say before our time's up. I've never done a movie. I know people. I got the very best. His name's Danny Drysdale. Everybody look him up on IMDb. He does the Killers music videos. He does Imagine Dragons music videos. He's doing Vanilla Ice's documentary. He did Crispin Glover's documentary. He did some stuff in Napoleon Dynamite. This guy is rock and roll, blockchain. He doesn't know blockchain yet, but he's getting acclimated, and also NFTs. He is. Let me share something for you guys. I know I keep going back to Jesus, but let me share something with you. When he went to get his 12 apostles, do you know where he went first? He went to the gangsters. He went to Timothy, the tax man. Tax man can take your house and he can kill you, because he was the tax man for the Romans. He went to the fishermen. Dude, those dudes were yoked, and they could be outside all day long, and they had to eat what they caught. So he had the very best and then he like Jim Rohn with an N says, you are the 5 people you hang out with. So, gentlemen, what I did was I stepped back, like Alan Watts talks about, and got a little perspective. And I said, I've been a creator my entire life. There's nothing different from what I'm doing than what I've done in the past, with an online dating site called HotSaints.com, to UPledge, which was a professional fundraising organization that I partnered with some of the Osmonds, that I turned fundraising on their ear, because most money gets pilfered. Every single thing I've done has been a result of something that was broken that I wanted to mend. This situation right now is the movie industry is done.
Yep.
As we used to know it. It is done. They are clamoring and clawing and crying and weeping and wailing, trying to get to everybody who has all this technology so that they can be the firsts. There's no more rules. So if there's no rules, why can't I make a movie? Why can't I find the very best people to do what they do best, like the apostles? And the one source is not me. The source isn't me, and the source, Ken, isn't you, and the source, Nathan, is...
Few will know this, but for Shitcoin 2021, quite similar, the same. I can fucking do a conference. All right, but I don't have to be the source. I found the best people that do all the best shit, and I've like put them into this, direction. Like, yo, we want to do a Shitcoin 2021. So pretty much what you're doing with NFT the movie, I've done similarly with Shitcoin 2021, bro. I am not the fucking source. I just the inspiration, maybe motivationer, maybe that's about it. I'm the guy at the back of the train, making sure if anything stops, I'll get out and push.
You're a high priest, man.
You look more like Jesus than I do, bro. I tell you. And it's not
I've never
blasphemy.
seen a fat Jesus, but I'm gonna make fat Jesus. I'm gonna bring fat Jesus back.
I'll be your Timothy, bro.
It's not blasphemy. Listen, I run advisory boards for a living, and an advisory board is built off of the 3 and the 12. God, Father, Holy Ghost, 12. You have the CEO, chair, and co-chair. Now, I have Muslim friends. I have Jewish friends. This is not about the Christian faith. This is just about stories and about organization. And Ken, you've brought so many people together because of your for one thing. You only do one thing, the reason people follow you. It's not what you say, dude. It's what you do. It's what you do behind the scenes that nobody sees. And then somebody else tells another, and you're like, you can't believe what I just talked about with Ken. You can't believe that I just paid my bills because he did the NFTs. Is that Robin back?
I knew it.
Yes. The Robin. Oh my gosh. I need to get that definition out for everybody at some point. But yeah. Ken, you're doing it, dude. And the other thing, everybody, we talked about this before we got on the podcast, didn't we, Nathan? Where sometimes we have this predestination, like we think we know what the day is going to happen. That's where anxiety comes from, by the way. When you look too far down the road, that's what anxiety is. If you look too far back, that's what depression is. So what you do is you go into something, and the first thing I say to people usually, Ken, is I've never made a movie. And the entire
I knew that when I was asking. I guess I should have framed it better in the sense of like what inspired you to, or any document that inspired you.
What inspired you to never make a movie?
No, to like do this one. Like, was there like that's what I mean though? Is
no, it's a good first pick. If you're gonna,
I've always had a dream of like doing a mockumentary. I want to do one so bad, bro. I feel like
you're talking to the right people. So everybody else, don't listen to what he just said, because Danny Drysdale and I are going to be sitting down with Ken. I got actually a message this morning from Josh. What's Josh? Josh Painter, right? Joshua. And he said, I had a premonition that you're going to do 2 more projects after this project. So who knows, bro. But the answer to the question of the inspiration is always a person. It's not a painting. It's the person who painted the painting. It's not the sculpture. It's the blind, deaf person who did the sculpture. My inspiration were the people in Puerto Rico and the people that I hung out with, that I was watching from an outside point of view, and they were all coming together and they were trying to make things work. And I'm like, this is fascinating. I've got to document this. This is not something for Facebook. This isn't something for TikTok. This is something for generations to see, because the millionaires, the billionaires, and the have-nots were all equal at this point, because they all didn't know what the freak they were talking about. And how many times in our lives can we get to a point of zero sum where nobody knows anything and they're going to start working together? And I was just like, somebody has got to show this to somebody and explain that you're not alone. You have all these freaking people who need each other. Listen, man, I can't get to an appointment if I don't have that Uber driver. I love my Uber drivers. I can't have a refreshing drink if the people at the Levi Strauss house that I was in last week aren't serving me my drinks. I spend more time with the help than I do with other people. So my inspiration is fully absolutely about the future, our kids, and their kids, to show them you're okay, man. You don't need to be the very like best at anything. Can't you just be good at a whole bunch of things and have a wonderful life? Don't you? Can't you just sit back and go, dude, I'm okay. And if somebody else says that I suck, well, guess what? You suck.
Yeah.
Nobody that loves me ever tells me I suck. What they do is they go, Jeff, you did that pretty good, man. Keep it up. And I told that to Ken the other day. Ken, we were talking, I don't know if it was this morning. The best way to success is to remove the obstacles. You don't have to find people to give you a jetpack. You just have to move the people out of the way that are holding you back. Cut those ties, cut those ropes. And if it's your mom and it's your dad, listen, the definition of honor they father and they mother is not listening to their crap and getting beat visually or verbally or physically. What they meant by that was live your life so that your name and your progenitors will know that you did the very best you could, and you're honoring your parents with a life that they've given you. But you owe nothing to somebody else and they owe you nothing. So this movie will be about because I have this mindset, I will be recording everybody. There is nobody that could not be in this movie unless they have a story and they're givers. Takers are not welcome in this movie. And the beautiful thing about movies, you can freaking edit it. I find somebody and they're a taker after, they're so freaking gone. I'm going to send them a clip of it and say, you can't do anything.
That's hilarious.
You're done.
Here's your few-minute clip.
You got burnt out of the movie. You got burned out of the NFT movie.
Yeah, bro. I thought it was in there. Yeah, you thought wrong.
Yeah,
so you're out.
that's kind of what I don't know. I have this thing where I say I don't have time to help people that don't have time to help people. You know?
Very true. Very true.
That's the definition. That's the definition of reciprocity. Let me tell you something. People have reciprocity wrong. Reciprocity isn't, hey, Nathan, I'm going to do something for you and you just do something for me. Reciprocity is also known as karma. It is known as, I'm going to do something for you and you're going to do something for Ken, and Ken is going to do something for Sally. And then someday, Sally's going to pick me up on the side of the road because I got a flat tire.
Yep.
That's reciprocity. And if you live your life like that, then you live no life of expectation. If you give something to somebody, don't expect it to come back because you really didn't give it to them if you were doing it that way.
He is alone.
Absolutely. I say that a lot, like to myself. My whole life, I've been giving most of my money away to people that I know or that I love, or just kind of not saving it right. And usually when I give it to a homeless person or something, there's been a lot of times where I've given them way too much money when I still needed money, but they're worse off. So I want to help, you know? It's always like, if this is meant to come back to me, it will. So, you know, it's having faith in that process too, that you're talking about, and knowing like, all right, I'm not only willing to participate in this chain, but I'm going to have faith in the process, and I trust it as well. And I know that this is going to come around to me. And even if it doesn't, who cares? Because it's going to come around to somebody else and it's just as good. So.
Well, and I'm so glad you said that, Nathan, because in the beginning of the conversation, before we got on air, I said it's not about time, or maybe I talked about this. It's not about time. It's about experiences. The reason I'm sitting here is because I've had 30 years of experiences, and in another 20 years, I'll have 20 years more experience. This beautiful relationship that we have right now is a moment in time. It's a freaking shooting star. And if you're not looking up, if you're looking at your friggin' phone and you're not looking at the star, you've missed it. And so I'm putting myself in a position of shooting stars. Everywhere I'm at, there's freaking shooting stars. And I'm like, I am so there. And when this passes, it's not a derivative of money. It's a derivative of experience. So when I walk into a room, somebody asks me a question, I can help them off the ledge. It's not about what we get. It's about what we give. Because we'll never, ever be able to repay the things that we give, because we always get 2, 3, 4, 10 times back than what we give. Don't you guys agree?
Every day.
I agree.
Yeah, I actually have a chart that can prove that on the secondary. The secondary market.
Very true.
So fucking
True.
ridiculous.
That's true.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I was telling Jeff earlier about like the fan art and how like adopting an artist and helping artists raise money and stuff by helping them sell their art and just like yeah, man, just as somebody in the chat just said, helps. I said, if you can't help yourself, help someone else, and someone else will help you. And that's how I always felt like when I can't, if I, like Nathan kind of said, shit, I only have $1, but you really need this dollar more than me. You know what I mean? Kind of like.
It's gonna take me a long time with no dollars to get where you're at with no dollars. So I'll take a chance. Like I trust myself. I can get another $1. Here you go. Because you might not be in a place to get that dollar mentally and emotionally or even physically anymore. Sometimes we let things go too far. And I hate to say it, but some people like they get in this mode where they're kind of fucked and they're like, I can't do anything because I sat here too long and I do regret it. But what do you want me to do now? And it's like, it's important to help those people because we have a chance. Like we didn't accidentally imprison ourselves.
So, and we can be free of that. We all can be free of that. We really can. Because when you look at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself one question. Am I going to die from this thing? If I'm not, I can work myself out of it. It may take a little time, but I can make it,
Yeah.
So, dude, I love this kind of stuff because, maybe we've mentioned NFT once, right?
That's why I tried. That's it.
Well, guess what? I guarantee the people on this channel,
you're not going to get any business done
about NFT.
No, dude, that's wrong. Because as soon as I showed the website, I put it up on display for a little bit. Everybody in the chat was trying to figure out how to buy the fucking spaceman artwork that you have as your banner on the NFTthemovie.com.
Yeah.
People were asking where's the link for it as an NFT. So you're definitely going to have to start getting yourself NFT'd up because people want them.
Well, I stand corrected. And obviously, Ken, and I'll let everybody know this, but you and I are collaborating on one of the posters. And so it's all about the people and who are the ones that are contributing, because we know some pretty talented people out there with great hearts that, we're going to do some good. But thanks to Landon Reed, and I have a part. I'm an advisory on the advisory board of Puerto Ventures in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico, man, they've been left into the wind from the United States, and these organizations down there are bringing in telecommunications. They're really helping the infrastructure and trying to have the people. Listen, most people don't know that 52% of the people in Puerto Rico are on state assistance. Dude, what? So there's the haves and the have-nots. You have the Vanderbilt, right? You have the Rockefellers and the Vanderbilts, where you did Dorado and you did Condado. What happens to Ponce? What happens to the rest of the island, right? And so we're going to be going to Puerto Rico and filming and working with some artists like Gustavo, who's just absolutely amazing, and trying to tell these stories. But that space stuff came from Landon Reed, because if you think about it, anything that's technologically advanced, the first thing we do as humans, we go to space. We don't go to the bottom of the ocean.
No.
That's later, because there's nothing else left to discover. So we're like, hey, let's go find a sunken ship. But the first thing you do is you look up into the sky. This is an ode to Star Wars. This is an ode to MTV. This is an ode to everybody from the very beginning who looked up into the skies and said, I think I figured out the secret.
The original Wen Moon.
Yeah, man.
It's weird because we all just kind of have this instinct like we're in something. Sometimes I feel like our need to look up is kind of like our need to maybe try to climb out.
That's wow.
I've always thought that. It's like we're always trying to, like, we're looking out of the aquarium. Like,
wow.
What's out there?
That's a really good point of view.
Yeah. So maybe.
And it takes the same energy to look down as it does to look up. Your body literally doesn't know the difference between the two, but there's a massive difference in your psychology when you look up.
Yeah, it's weird. We just know that we're in a thing, but we don't know what that is, or if you'd call it a thing. But I think it's good. Like, I think that if we really, really, really think about it, the fact that we have no answers lets us focus on just that moment.
Hey,
You're
can
far
I
enough.
say,
You're just like, there is nothing to do. I just gotta like be present here now, I guess. It's the only productive thing I can actually do, maybe. Maybe.
it is. No, it fully is. Because we all know that yesterday doesn't exist anymore, and neither does tomorrow. Hey guys, check this out. This is how crazy this world is. And Ken, you're on the right track, and Nathan, obviously, so are you.
Thanks.
Last year, when Brock Pierce ran for the presidency of the United States for the independent ticket, he messaged me. He's like, "Hey, Crane, can you get a few people together?" He came into town, and I had my tore up jeans and a backpack, and he's like, "Hey, bro, why don't you come to Puerto Rico with me?" The answer is the book cover is called Get on the Plane. By the time I came back, I was the director of Utah. I know nothing, my friends, about politics. Absolutely nothing about politics, and I directed the state of Utah. For the first time in general election history, Brock Pierce was voted for on the blockchain here in Utah. It had never happened before. How is that happening? How could that even happen? I know nothing about politics. I'm helping him with the state because it's not about me. It's about Darcy Van Orden, and it's about Amelia Powers Gardner, who is the first women commissioner in Utah County. It's about Josh, who voted for him on the blockchain. And it's about Utah, who is already 5, 6, 10 years ahead of most states. You can get married on the blockchain here in Utah. So wonderful things are happening, my friends. And if we get rid of those labels, I'm not a politician, I'm not a movie maker, I'm not this, I'm not that. Take away those obstacles. There's nothing left except for what Nathan has. Nathan, you're pure, bro. Look at your arms, look at your hair. You are not embarrassed to be who you are. You're putting yourself out there. Before you got on, you said, "I hope I don't cry." Right?
Yeah.
You're pure, bro. That's what we all love, because we don't like the things that people hide. The long sleeve. When you hide stuff, there's something going on underneath it. And that's why I love you, Ken, because it's called self-deprecation, not self-defecation, self-deprecation.
I was saying, how did you know?
Self-deprecation is to be able to laugh at yourself and to be able to point things out before somebody else does. Because if you point it out before somebody else does, you've taken the power away from them. If somebody comes up to you and go, "Dude, you're a wussy," I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I should have told you that before. I'm the biggest freaking wussy on the planet." They're like, "I don't want to beat you up anymore."
Yeah, I did go to first day of high school freshman year in all pink. Pretty sure I wore a skirt to school too, first day.
I was
Dude, I'm
actually
bringing a
paint
kilt.
my nails black this evening.
Wait, you got a kilt?
Bro, where did I
Wait,
put
what?
it?
I gotta see the belt. As soon as somebody says they have a kilt, I'm always curious if they have like the fluffy belt to go with it.
Well, I don't have the fluffy belt, but this is William Wallace,
Could be a dick
OG,
pops
bro.
out that like kind of covers.
Oh
it.
yeah, dude, that's
And-
perfect.
And I'm not posing as this is punk rock, bro. Like,
Yeah. I was gonna
that's what
ask. Do you like know
NFT is, punk rock.
Fucking A, dude, exactly.
Do you listen to Black Flag?
I used to. Listen, remember, I grew up in the 80s, bro. So I grew up with all the disco rules, guys. Disco rules, punk rock, right? We're going to dance. When we get to Miami, ladies and gentlemen, the only thing I ask you, don't ask me about NFTs, because honestly, I'm not an NFT person. Let's just ask me to dance.
There's
Let's
gonna
just
be a dance. Did you know that? The decentralized dance party?
Oh,
No,
they're
bro.
gonna be there.
I'm bringing the kilt.
Oh, dude, yeah, we got
Is
you.
Gary gonna be there?
I don't think the borders permit certain things, but I think things
Okay.
are happening.
He's gonna be like, "Hey, bro." I'm like, "Oh no."
I think Kyle Kemper's gonna
No,
be
right.
there, so there's that. Pretty
That'll be
excited to see Kyle.
Never
So
met. Have I met? Did I meet? Was he at the last thing? Or no?
yes. I got those cards, the Tangem Swiss key cards, the Bitcoin
Yeah.
tapping thingies.
Hell yeah.
Wait, I got it. Actually, it's funny. It's bad opsec.
What's
but
messed up? I
my
gave mine
cards
away
right
to
there.
somebody.
Yeah, I bought like 20 of them,
I
bro, and
know.
I gave them all away.
I give away all the cool shit, and then I want it later.
This thing right here, it's basically like that. You just tap it to your phone. It's a Bitcoin hardware wallet or whatever.
Yeah, but it was a
Anyway.
white one. It had like the little red cross
Yeah, it's
on
so
it.
cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, you definitely met him. But yeah, there's going to be dancing, Jeff. I won't let you down, man. I look forward to that myself, and I just want to say thanks to everybody in the chat for tuning in. Go ahead and check out the website nftthemovie.com, and I'll see you in Miami June 3rd and 4th for Shitcoin 2021. That's shitcoin2021.com.
You can't even say your own thing, bro.
Dude, it's just every time I say it now, I think of Tommy Chong trying to say
I
Shitcoin
lowered my
20.
chair on accident. Did you see that? I just dropped like 6 inches.
Oh, I got you.
My heel, there I am, a little more. My heel hit it.
So yeah, Shitcoin 2021. Yeah, Jeff, you'll be there. And I feel like a lot of artists in the NFT community will be there as well. So it'll be a great opportunity for both parties, and it's just good. It's going to be a lot of fun. I really didn't want it, to be taken too seriously. Obviously, that's why it's called Shitcoin 2021.
Right.
It's supposed to be more so about the fun and the renaissance rather than the war. Everybody over at a Bitcoin maximalist event, Bitcoin 2021, they're still talking about killing the dollar and ending I'm like, you guys are so boring. Have fun over there if you can.
Sports
I
for
guess.
nerds, dude.
Yeah, dude. But
Like politics.
we're gonna be exactly. We're gonna be having
I
fun.
get involved in all these things too, so I get it. But man, enough's enough already.
Well, I appreciate the invite, guys, and it was great to meet you, Nathan. And
Yeah, man.
thank you for your time. I only have to say two things. Number one, we will probably go over there and film a few things. You got to have the balance, right? So we'll film so that people can see what's going on. Hopefully, it's going to be with Tony Hawk. What a guy! The other thing is, we've got some stuff booked. We haven't paid for it yet. If anybody has a couple rooms and they want to put up NFT the movie, guys, there's 3 of us. Let us know. We're going to be in Miami. If you don't ask for something, you won't get it. So that's what I'm asking for you. And if you guys have anything, let me know.
All right, man. We'll put out those feelers.
I'm already letting somebody sleep in mine for free because I felt bad. So, and I needed protection as well. So, but if there's enough room, I'll let you air mattress it.
I love it.
I'm good with that, man. I love the grind.
All right, guys. Much love, and as always, have a day.
Have a day. We love you.
Have a great day.
Hello, happy bros. Hey, you're about to get a face full of the Ken Bozak. He's a mentor. That's what I heard. He's a connector. Oh, yeah. He's a brilliant leader. I've seen it. He's Ken Bozak. Oh, happy bro. You gotta get some Bitcoin and hold it. Happy bros. You gotta get those NFTs and you gotta hodl that stuff. You gotta hodl it. 'Cause I'm Ken bro. We got your Bitcoin, bro. He's an original. Buy some NFTs and hold them. How many times does he have to tell you? Going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're gonna get real high. 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 Yeah, we're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Bro, we're going to the moon. Oh yeah, we're going to the moon. We're gonna get real high. Real high. Yep. Real high. Hello, happy bros. Come get some Ken Bozak.